WLNS is here for you with 6 News at Noon.
Russian forces are striking areas around Kiev today, even though Russia had said it would pull back from around the capital area. It's our top story at noon. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Michael Thomas. Kira is off today. U.S. officials say they're skeptical that this is an actual pullback and believe it's more of a redeployment to other areas. This all comes as Ukraine has submitted a proposed framework for a peace deal, which includes assurances that it'll remain neutral and not join NATO as long as its security is guaranteed. Skylar Henry is here for you now with the latest on the Ukraine crisis.
Russian forces kept up their assault on areas around Chernihiv and Kyiv Wednesday.
Huge explosion east of Kyiv and north of Kyiv. It's means battles there. The people died, still died.
The strikes show Russia may be slow to live up to its pledge to pull back from attacking the two cities. The Pentagon says it's seen some signs of Russian troop movements, but not a withdrawal.
It is likely more a repositioning to be used elsewhere in Ukraine. Where exactly, we don't know. I would just note that the Russians themselves have said, in the same breath they're saying they're withdrawing, that they're reprioritizing the Donbas area, eastern Ukraine.
Russian forces have made the most advances in eastern Ukraine, but they have still not been able to capture the port city of Mariupol. The city has been completely surrounded for more than a month now, and food and supplies are running low. The satellite image shows thousands of people lining up around a still intact grocery store in the city waiting for food. A delegation of Ukrainian parliament members arrived here on Capitol Hill today for meetings with U.S. senators to discuss the plight and future of their country.
Russia continues its merciless and cowardly, brutal bombings of Ukrainian cities with the attempt apparently to level them, to reduce them to rubble.
The United Nations say more than 4 million people have now fled Ukraine looking for safety, making it the largest influx of refugees in Europe since World War II. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
Later today, Maine Senator Susan Collins says she will indeed vote to confirm Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, giving Democrats at least one Republican vote, and all but assuring that Jackson will become the first black woman on the Supreme Court. Collins said in a statement she met with Jackson a second time after 4 days of hearings last week and decided she possesses the experience, qualifications, and integrity to serve as an associate justice on the Supreme Court. Jackson would be the third black justice after Thurgood Marshall and Clarence Thomas, and the 6th woman. She would also be the first former public defender on the court. And today in Grand Rapids, Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed the historic $4.8 billion Building Michigan Together legislation into law. The bipartisan legislation includes the largest infrastructure investment in the state's history, helping continue to fix roads, bridges, replacing lead pipes, and protecting drinking water, all while expanding high-speed internet and building affordable housing.
There's no question that there are old lead pipes all across the state that are bringing water into our homes. When the water's treated, when it's maintained, it's safe to drink. However, we know that it's important that we continue our work to replace these lines. So these resources will go a long way toward making sure that we're protecting people and the quality of their drinking water.
Last week, the GOP-led legislator struck a deal with Whitmer on 2 bills allowing the legislation to move forward. Also today, prosecutors rested their case against the 4 men charged with plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer before the 2020 national election. Key evidence over 13 days of trial came from 2 undercover FBI agents and an informant who was among the extremists for months made hours of secret recordings. 2 men who avoided trial by pleading guilty also provided critical testimony last week. And one of the latest witnesses for the government was the longtime companion of Barry Croft Jr., an alleged leader of the scheme. Now, Croft, Adam Fox, Daniel Harris, and Brandon Cursenta are all charged with kidnapping conspiracy, and Fox, Croft, and Harris also face additional charges for related explosives. As of now, the defense will start to begin presenting its case. A 21-year-old woman died after a head-on collision with a wrong-way driver on US 131 and has now been identified as Willow Rose Yawn of Fowlerville. Now, Jan was driving a 2019 Volkswagen Jetta north on US 131 at about 3:15 on Sunday morning, March 27th. Her car was hit by a 2014 Chrysler 200 going the wrong way. The Chrysler was driven by a 22-year-old woman from the Grand Rapids area who was critically injured. State police say after the crash, both vehicles were then sideswiped by a tanker truck heading north on the freeway. According to police, the driver of the truck was not injured. Jan was a student of industrial design at Kendall College of Art and Design in Grand Rapids, and friends of hers say she was on her way home from work when the tragedy happened. Officials in Ingham County are looking for the cause of a pole barn fire. Now, this happened near Kingman and Coleman Roads in Aurelius Township, with smoke being seen from miles away. Now, multiple departments were on the scene, which was quickly contained, and as of now, there's no word yet on any damages. In Washington, the Biden administration is launching what it says a one-time stop shop for online users, and it's all to help people across the country access COVID-19 tests, vaccines, and treatments, and also get information as to where the latest status updates are for infection rates near you. President Biden is expected to make this announcement and the rollout of COVID.gov later this afternoon. Title 42, the public health order by the Trump administration to turn away migrants and asylum seekers at the border due to COVID-19, is ending today. That's unless the Biden administration extends it. Washington Bureau correspondent Alexandria Limon is here for you now with the latest.
Last year, the U.S. saw a record number of apprehensions of migrants at the U.S. border. And now U.S. border officials say that if Title 42 comes to an end, we can expect the number of migrants who are coming to the U.S. to continue rising. Texas Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez posted these pictures on Twitter showing a group of 187 migrants apprehended by U.S. Border Patrol agents Sunday in Eagle Pass.
It is as bad as it's ever been. It's only getting worse.
Congressman Gonzalez says there will be a huge spike in the number of migrants arriving at the southern border if the Biden administration allows Title 42 to end. Title 42 is a public health rule that allowed border officials to immediately expel migrants because of the pandemic.
What you're going to see is a humanitarian crisis on steroids.
Title 42 expires Wednesday.
They have no plan in place to deal with what is already a disaster.
Republicans and some Democrats urged the administration not to end the policy without a clear plan to help border communities deal with the influx.
To address it, both from a public health perspective as well as from the perspective of Customs and Border Patrol.
The Congressional Hispanic Caucus urges the Biden administration to end the use of Title 42, which was initially implemented under the Trump administration. Congressman Juan Vargas said in a tweet, Title 42 was never about public health. It was a way to keep people seeking refuge and protection out. The White House says any decision on the future of Title 42 is up to the CDC.
And we are currently reviewing the data and evaluating it right now.
And CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says an announcement can be expected at any time about whether Title 42 will remain in place. Reporting in Washington, Alexandra Limon.
And if you're getting ready to head out for lunch, you might want to head to a Jersey Mike's because you can actually help support a good cause at the same time. As a part of their Day of Giving, 100% of their sales today will be donated to the Special Olympics, and it's all in support of the 2022 Special Olympics U.S. Games that's happening over in Orlando, Florida. And this money is in addition to the donations that customers have already been making all month long.
Part of our culture for the company is about giving to give and helping others, and this is the first year that we're all the stores are coming together for one central cause. Everybody is pitching in. You know, I got a great team of people back there, and everybody's been 100% about the whole thing.
Now, donations made at Michigan stores will help support nearly 60 Michigander athletes that are also heading to Florida.